If you would have told me Edge Runner Gaming HD a few years ago, say about 2020, 2021, or hell, even the early part of 2022, before I got my Xbox One, if you would have told me that I'd be sitting here today in the year 2024, in the month of September, doing a thoughts and grades review of a Gears of War video game, I would laugh in your face and tell you there's no way that would happen unless by a stroke of luck I happen to get an Xbox console. Well, here we are. Hello everyone, Edgerunner Gaming HD, and welcome to a review that I thought I would never do here on the channel, and a review of a franchise that I never thought I ever get the chance to play. This is Gears of War Ultimate Edition Thoughts and Grades Review. Now, I'm not a complete stranger to the Gears of War franchise, but I know very, very little about it. I do know that it's one of the most acclaimed franchises in video gaming history, one of the biggest IPs that Xbox has ever given the video game world. When it was first announced back in 2006, it took over the gaming world because at that time, nobody had ever seen a video game with that level of graphics until this game came out. This game, with the Unreal Engine back then, pushed the boundaries of video game graphics back in 2006. And then, 10 years later, the Coalition decide that they're going to do a complete remaster of the original Gears of War titled Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is pretty much a retelling of the original game with a few added chapters in there, a few added stuff that wasn't in the original Gears of War game. And I've been looking forward to playing this franchise on my channel someday. I just didn't know if it ever would happen. And now here we are. Now, Gears of War is a very important franchise, like I stated, to Xbox and to many gamers. And going into this game, I had my expectations really, 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 really high. I was hoping that this game would knock it out of the ballpark. I was hoping that I could hit a grand slam with this. Well, I did knock it out of the park, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a grand slam. I would say it is a home run. And I did have lots of fun playing this game, but there are issues with it. And I'm going to get to those issues later on here in this video. So, what do you say we start off here with the grading system? Start off with the graphics. Now, the graphics, like I said, in the original Gears of War game back in 2006 were revolutionary for their time. And I even say to this day that they still stand the test of time. Yes, as time went further along and, technology has advanced and stuff. I mean, look at the games that we have today. I mean, they're almost lifelike in terms of graphics. But even going back playing the original Gears of War, the graphics still stand the test of time, in my personal opinion. And the graphics here in the remake are no exception. The graphics here, the remaster, I got confused there, sorry about that. The graphics here in the remaster are no exception. This game, graphics-wise, and I played this on an original Xbox One. I didn't play this on an Xbox One S. I didn't play it on an Xbox One X. I didn't play it on a Series S or even a Series X, which, of course, the graphics are going to look way better on those consoles, especially the next-gen consoles. But I played this on an original launch edition Xbox One, and this game is absolutely stunning graphics wise. A full 1080p, and I'm pretty sure it's also 60 FPS across the entire board for the campaign, which was really damn cool. Graphics wise, this game is absolutely stunning. They took the original game and remastered it here and made it look even better than the original. Now, I'm not going to say that it's the greatest graphics looking game I've ever seen. Personally, from my perspective, I think the best looking game I've ever played is probably Red Dead Redemption 2, or when I was playing it on the channel, maybe Ghost of Tsushima. But Gears of War Ultimate Edition looks absolutely stunning. And it's a very damn impressive 9 out of 10 for me. It is absolutely beautiful on an original Xbox One. And if you have a next gen system, I might even bump it up to a 9.5. This game, graphics wise, is absolutely insane. And it's definitely one of the best looking Xbox One games on the Xbox One console. Next up is the sound design for Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And the sound design for Gears of War Ultimate Edition is fan-fucking-tastic. While I will say that it's not the greatest sound design I've ever heard in a game, I will say that it was really damn well done. Coalition did a really good job with the sound design. It's not perfect. There were a few audio glitches here and there. But for what I experienced, for what all of you experience watching the videos at home or wherever you watch them, the audio design, in my personal opinion, was really damn good. And if I had to give it a grade, I gotta give it a 10. I gotta give the sound design a 10. Next up on my grading system is the soundtrack for Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And no, I'm not gonna grade this just based off of the Mad World trailer. As much as I would love to just give it a 10 out of 10 based off of that video game trailer, that song was nowhere heard in this game. I didn't hear the song play not one time in the entire time that I played this game. If it did play, I must have not heard it. But I'm pretty positive that I did not hear this song at any time, not even like a freaking BGM of it at any time in the game, which I'm assuming is because of copyright issues. And it really sucks that it wasn't included in this game. That really actually sucks. But they used the song for both the original launch of the game and the remastered launch of the game. And the song fits absolutely perfect with the Gears of War universe. It's the absolute perfect choice of a song that they could pick for the lore and the universe of Gears of War. As for the music itself in Gears of War Ultimate Edition, fantastic job. I loved it. I especially loved the parts where the music would get really freaking creepy, like when I was in like dark hallways or dark rooms, and the music would just start getting really dark and like foreboding, and it basically gave off that ambience that you know you're not alone, kind of like a horror game does. And I really, really appreciated that. And the soundtrack for Gears of War is pretty iconic in itself. Now, I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10, but for what it's worth, I was thoroughly impressed by the soundtrack here in this game, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It was really damn impressive, but in my personal opinion, nothing that makes it a 10 out of 10, unless I'm just grading the Mad World trailer, and only that. Now, that's a 10 out of 10. That's one of the greatest video game trailers of all time. But the music that was composed for this game, it's a 9 out of 10. It's really damn good. Go listen to it on YouTube or Spotify if you haven't. And now, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we get to the two factors of the grading system that sadly bring the grade of Gears of War Ultimate Edition down a little bit. This game was going to get a really, really, really high grade on my grading system if it wasn't for these two things here. Let me talk about the gameplay here in Gears of War Ultimate Edition, because I got some issues with the gameplay here in this game. Most of the time, the gameplay in this game was very kick-ass. I loved chopping up the enemies with the chainsaw gun, the Lancer. I loved using the Lancer in the game. I pretty much used the Lancer a majority of the game, which is the signature weapon of Gears of War. Of course, there's the grenades, there's the torque bow. The Hammer of Dawn was really cool to use, especially when I was using it to kill the giant spider creatures. And I did have a lot of fun with the gameplay in this game, minus a few bugs and glitches here and there, which is to be expected. You know, not every game is going to be absolutely perfect gameplay-wise. There's going to be bugs and glitches every now and again. Outside of the bugs and glitches, I had quite a bit of fun with the gameplay. My main issue, however, is that the gameplay in this game, it feels very convoluted. And what I mean by that is the AI partners in this game, which are Dom, Cole, and Baird. Sometimes they're very helpful, and they help me out in missions, they help me out in battles against the Locust, and they're really helpful. And then the next minute, especially in the final boss battle of the game, you have moments where the AI just goes completely fucking brain dead and just stands out in the open getting shot until you have to basically go and rescue them because they get knocked out and pass out. And if you don't get to them in time, they bleed out and die, and you have to restart all over again. Like, 1 minute they're helpful, and the next minute they're just standing around like, I don't know what to do, I'm just standing in the open and get shot at, and they end up getting knocked down. And when you go to rescue them, when you go to help revive them, you get killed, you get knocked down, you get killed, and you have to restart the entire part all over again. It's annoying, it's frustrating. I dealt with that so many times in this game, especially on the final boss battle of the game with Dom. There were so many times in that final boss battle with Dom where he would just run right out into the open, right in front of Ram, and just stand out in the fucking open. He wouldn't even get in cover. He'd just run out in the open, stand there, and get shot up to the point where he gets knocked down, and I don't have anybody to help me. It was so bad. Dom's AI in the final boss battle was so fucking bad, I literally had to resort to having my friend Orbital Sigma basically play the role of Dom in a co-op mode just so I could beat the damn game. And oh my god, this game, I played pretty much almost the entirety of this game on the hardest difficulty, which is insane difficulty. And despite my issues every now and again with certain areas in the game, I played probably, I would say, 99% of the game on insane. It's just that one final fucking boss battle against Ram. That boss battle was absolutely, I guess you could say, insane. Pun intended. I couldn't beat the son of a bitch. No matter what I did, no matter how many tutorials I looked up, no matter what I do, I literally would do everything the tutorials would tell me to do. I would even try to glitch the damn game Nothing fucking worked. I even get my friend Orbital Sigma in on it. I even got my friend Orbital Sigma in on it to try to help me out. And even he had a hard time against this boss. And he's somebody that has played games the likes of Devil May Cry on Dante Must Die mode. And even he said that this boss in Gears of War was giving him a fucking issue. When he's saying that, you know that this boss battle is insanely fucking hard. Even he told me to lower the difficulty, which we eventually did. We lowered it to normal difficulty. I kind of wish we would have did it on hard difficulty, but we lowered it to normal difficulty, and we breezed through this shit. And I'm not going back and redoing that boss battle on insane difficulty. I'm not doing that. I tried. I literally tried for about 4 to 5 hours trying to beat that guy. There's actual footage that I recorded that I since deleted now because I'm done with the game. There's footage I didn't upload to the channel because the whole video is basically me screaming at the top of my lungs. I didn't want to upload that to YouTube. That's not the type of stuff I really want to upload to YouTube. Like the whole video, I was just doing nothing but cussing out the game, cussing out the boss level. I even went so far as to cussing out the developer of the game. And I don't want to upload anything like that. And also, I don't want to really shit on Coalition because they did a really good job remastering this. Despite what some people may say about the game. Like, for example, I know that Critical, aka Charlie, he said that the original game is better than the remaster, which that's his opinion. Me personally, I never played the original game. I do have it though. Will I go play the original game? Maybe in my spare time. I don't think I'm gonna play it on my channel. I might just play that in my spare time. But the remaster was still pretty damn good gameplay wise. It's just the AI was very inconsistent at times in this game, especially on the final boss battle, and that fucking final boss battle was absolute bullshit. With all that being said, I wanted to give the gameplay a 10. I wanted to give it a 10 because the gameplay in this game was so fucking badass. When it worked, when I wasn't having any issues, this game was a lot of fun gameplay-wise. This gameplay, it's a third person, but the way that you aim the gun, the way the camera zooms in when you're aiming the gun, is kind of like a third person, but with like a mixture of first person in it as well. I know that sounds a little weird. It's a third person shooter, but kind of almost like a first person shooter as well. I don't know. If you get what I'm trying to say, that's great. If you don't get what I'm saying, I don't know how else to really say it. Third person shooter, but yet when you're shooting the enemies with the guns and stuff, and it does the zoomed in camera effect and stuff, it feels like you're playing a first person shooter. It just felt really, really unique. And also I love chopping up the enemies with the Lancer. That was pretty darn cool. Overall, as much as I wanted to give the gameplay a 10, I gotta give the gameplay a 7.5 out of 10. It's really damn good. It's just the gameplay has issues, especially with the AI. The AI can 1 minute be helpful, and the next minute they be absolutely brain dead, just stand out in the middle of the open, like, I might as well T-pose. I mean, they might as well just fucking T-pose at that point. They might, I mean, the only thing that was missing was Dom T-posing in the final boss battle. I mean, that was literally the only thing that was really missing from that. The AI was very inconsistent. I mean, when I have to resort to having my friend get Game Pass Ultimate download Gears of War Ultimate Edition and play co-op with me to beat the boss, and we still can't beat the damn boss when it's that bad, that's a problem. 7.5 out of 10 for the gameplay. And that's going to tie into the story here. And unfortunately, the story for Gears of War Ultimate Edition wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I went into this game with very high expectations because this is critically acclaimed to be one of the greatest Xbox 360 games of all time. At one point, there was a short period of time in 2006 and 2007, before Halo 3 came out. There was a short period of time where Gears of War was the biggest game in the entire video game industry. It had took over the entire video game industry at one point. And I was going into this game with my expectations very, very high, hoping that this would have a kick-ass story, that it would have a story that I would never forget. And it's unfortunate for me to say that that's not the case, sadly. Now, don't get me wrong. The story in Gears of War Ultimate Edition was really damn good. It definitely had some really cool moments. Especially when I fought that Brumac thing, that big giant boss. That was really darn cool. There were some cool moments in the story. I like the ambience of the story when you're in like creepy dark hallways and creepy dark buildings and stuff like that. The ambience was really damn good here. It gave off a horror video game type of element. It's just the story's not a 10 out of 10 from my perspective. And that final boss, I get they had to make the final boss insanely hard because he's basically a bodyguard for the queen. And of course, they're going to make him super freaking hard because of that. But that final boss pissed me off so much that I wasn't even enjoying the story anymore. Now, I'm not going to dock any points off the story because of the boss battle at the end. I know I said I was going to. I'm not going to do that. But the story overall is not a 10. But it is a very darn impressive 7 out of 10. I think it's a really cool story, and it has some really good moments here and there. But Legendary, I mean, if you think it's a legendary story, I mean, that's your opinion. But me personally, while it is a great story and it has its moments, it's not a 10. But it's still a really damn impressive 7 out of 10. So I hope that's a respectful enough grade for Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Now, I have heard that future titles in the franchise have way better stories, especially 2 and especially Gears of War 3. I don't want to be spoiled on those games. I'll find out what happens in them when I play them in the future. But my friend Orbital Sigma and other people in the Gears of War community have all admitted that Gears of War 2 and 3 are the best stories in the entire franchise. So I'm hoping when I get around to playing those, the stories in those games will be a lot better. I'm going to go into those games with my expectations set at a low. I'm not going to go into them with my expectations at an all-time high like I did with this game. I'm going to keep my expectations low for those two. I hope the stories in those games blow the first game story right out of the fucking water. But only time will tell. So, in closing, the story is a 7 out of 10 for me. And I'm not going to go any lower or any higher than that. And that's that here for the grading system for all of my grades, except for my final overall grade of Gears of War Ultimate Edition. I still can't believe I'm reviewing a Gears of War game here on my channel. And I understand this is not the best review of Gears of War on YouTube. There's people that have way more in-depth reviews of Gears of War Ultimate Edition all over YouTube. If you don't really like my review, it's understandable. Let me know your thoughts of Gears of War Ultimate Edition down in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts and grades of Gears of War Ultimate Edition down in the comment section below. What you think about the game, what your overall grade of the game is. Gears of War Ultimate Edition. I love this game, and yet there's times I absolutely fucking hated it, especially that final boss. I was hoping to at least come in and give this game, at the bare minimum, a 9 out of 10. Hell, I was even hoping for a 10. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't. Gears of War Ultimate Edition is a game that I went in with very high expectations. And while I'm not super disappointed, I am a bit disappointed it didn't live up to all my expectations. It's still a great game. I'm going to go back to this game and play the multiplayer on it, definitely. I'm definitely going to check out the multiplayer, which might actually be the best part of the game. I'll check out the multiplayer. As for the story, obviously it's a one and done. I mean, I could play the original Gears of War story, but I think this is just going to be a one and done for me. I'll probably play the original Gears of War story in my spare time. So with all of that being said, my overall final grade for Gears of War Ultimate Edition, while it's not a 10, it's not a 9, it's a really damn impressive 8 out of 10. If it weren't for the issues that I stated, if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for that, this would be potentially a 9, maybe even coming extremely close to a 10 out of 10. But it's just not there, unfortunately. And I'm hoping that in future titles like Gears of War 2 and 3 and on, I'm hoping they fix the issues with the AI being brain dead at times. I'm hoping for no... Well, I seriously doubt it, but I'm hoping that I don't run into any more bullshit boss battles in the future, but I'm pretty sure I will. I'm pretty freaking sure I will. But that's going to be for another day and another time. Gears of War Ultimate Edition, a solid 8 out of 10. I definitely recommend playing this game if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, or hell, if you have a local game store near you and they happen to have a copy of this game, because you can get this game for less than $5. I paid $5 for my physical copy of Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And by the way, I am going to keep my physical copy. I'm not selling it or anything. I'm going to keep it. And I'll probably only play the game for the multiplayer, and that's it. But it's a very damn respectful 8 out of 10, and for a game to get that high of a grade, that's a good thing for me. Anything above a 5 is very respectful. Anything above a 7 is really good. Anything above an 8 is very damn good. A 9 and a 10 out of 10 is... A 9 or a 10 makes this game iconic. And if it gets a 10... If it gets a 10 on my grading system... In my opinion, that makes it one of the greatest games I've ever played, and one of the greatest games of all. One of the greatest games of all time. So, with that being said, that does it here for my thoughts and grades of Gears of War Ultimate Edition. My very first Gears of War video game I've ever played in my life. Now, when will Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3 and the other Gears of War games come? In the foreseeable future. I still have a lot of games I need to get through here in the future. I will get back to Gears of War someday. Someday, I'm going to get back to Gears of War. But until that time comes, I hope you all enjoyed my Let's Play of Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Edge Runner Gaming HD signing out. Peace, stay safe, have a great rest of the day or night, stay hydrated during the summer, and I will see you in future videos here on the channel. I still got the Grand Theft Auto game to go through. I still am playing through The Last of Us Part 2. For now, I'm not going to announce anything new for the channel. So if you made it to this part of the video all the way to the end and expected me to announce something new, sorry to disappoint you. I'm not announcing anything new for the channel for the time being. This is just a thoughts and grades video for Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and that is it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
I couldn't wait for you to come and clear the cupboard, but now you're gonna leave with nothing but a sign. Another evening I'll be sitting reading in between your lines, because I miss you all the time.